In the video game series Kirby by Nintendo, Kirby flies around on these things called warp stars. But have you ever wondered exactly how fast do these warp stars go? How do we even figure that out? Nothing in the world of Kirby is an everyday object with realistic proportions that we can use to compare sizes. It turns out there's an important hint hiding in plain sound. Today on Drawn to Measure, we're going to be using our sense of hearing and a bit of music to figure out the speed of Kirby's warp star. Let's listen to that warp star effect again. Specifically, the part where Kirby's star flies off into the distance. You may be familiar with this sound if you've ever heard a car pass by. This trademark flyby sound, where the pitch suddenly goes from high to low, is an example of the Doppler effect. The Doppler effect is what happens when a source of sound moves while it's making that sound. When it moves away from you, the pitch of the sound will drop. And when it moves towards you, the pitch of the sound will rise. The pitch of the sound changes according to how fast it's moving. In particular, if the object is moving at X% the speed of sound, then the wavelength of that sound will decrease by X% if it's moving toward you, or increase by X% if it's moving away. What does this mean for the warp star? Well, the ratio of the wavelength when moving towards you versus moving away cancels out to be this. As you'll notice, there's no variable here for the original wavelength of the sound at all. This means that as long as the source is moving past you at the same speed, all sounds will drop in frequency by the same ratio. In music, a frequency ratio is called an interval. You may be familiar with a few already, like the octave, the perfect fifth, the perfect fourth, and the major third. The warp star's pitch drop is nowhere near that drastic. It barely drops from one note to the next, which in music is called a semitone. A semitone represents about a 6% drop in pitch, but this was a little more than that. Let's call it 8%. Plugging 8% back into our formula, we find that the warp star travels at Mach 0.04, or about 51 kilometers per hour. Turns out, the warp star doesn't go much faster than a car on a city road.